I'm glad to talk to you because I wish when I saw you at Tracy Comic Con, I genuinely wanted to like speak with you more.
Right,
But
right.
my family was with me, and just that wasn't going to work out.
Oh no, it's
Um,
all good. If you get
so
busy, you know.
yeah, yeah. But I'm glad that we get to chit chat right now.
Right.
All right, tell me about Algorithm Comics.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Algorithm Comics is pretty much the love child of teenage angst and also just, being a young person and wanting to sort of follow your dreams.
Hmm.
I grew up in the valley for most of my life, and when you're living in Cowtown, as I call it, like in Tracy,
Yeah, yeah.
it seems a little bit, like can I be like that? Can I be the next
Hmm.
Stanley? Can I really, you know, be a star,
Yeah.
of my own, story and, do something bigger than myself. And I think Algorithm Comics was sort of the answer to that. And, with myself and along with my friends, I decided to like, hey, let's create a comic book. That was the first idea,
Yeah.
let's create a comic book first. Let's create this story. And I've been having this story, as you may know, Quasar Soldiers
Yeah.
for a long time. And that was always in my head, something I've been working on for a long time, and my friends would always, ask me like, Gideon, now tell me more about this Quasar Soldiers. It sounds so cool. And then one day it was just like, hey, you know, it kind of clicked. Like, I'm gonna make this into a reality, and that's what I did, right? In a lot of
Hmm.
ways. And my friends, they followed, and we, from college and now, I'm still in college, but
Okay.
from JC college to being in San Jose State,
Yeah.
my team has just been growing, and it's most of them are my classmates, or maybe someone that I worked at Save Mart when I used to live in
Right on.
Tracy, or maybe I used to teach with, that's the job I do now. And all these people are just, fantastic human beings who just want to do something special
Cool.
and also kind of share their own unique experiences too, and add it to these characters and to this story. So I think that's really exciting, and I
That
think
is
that's
a.
the heart of this project.
You had yeah at your table there was a few people there. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, that was like half the team right there. So
Wow.
I think who was with me, that was Allison Pitts.
Okay.
She was the first one, that I brought into the team, and it was really interesting. The way we met was, which I was drawing. I'm always drawing in class. It was like anthropology, very exciting class, by the
Yeah.
way. And
Are you being
uh,
sarcastic or no?
I was being sarcastic right there.
Okay.
But yeah, very exciting class, as it may be, and I would always like walk past Allison, and I didn't know her name at first, and I just decided like, you know what, let me talk to her, let me see
Hmm.
if she would be interested in in this thing, that I've been working on.
Really?
And yeah, and it was just really random, at the time, she was really, she was shy, a little bit, most artists were shy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not used to, sharing our work and, putting
Yeah.
ourselves out there. For me, I'm
Yeah.
a little bit, I've been kind of getting out of my shell at that time, but for Allison, she was still getting there. And, I gently asked her, and, showed her my sketchbooks, and then I told her the story after class, of the entire Quasar Soldiers, the whole shebang, beginning to end. And she cried.
Really?
She actually cried, yeah. And I thought she might be like, I don't know, allergies, it's springtime. I don't know. I was just like, what is going on? And she just kind of sniffles and, turns her cheek, and she's like, it's a good story, you
Wow.
know? And I'm like, is it now? So, I think stuff like that, I guess it made me feel really a type of way, I suppose, it made me
Hmm.
feel like, you know what, we need to try. If this is how it might make people feel, then we need to try to make this into a reality.
That's a crazy story. So you
Yeah.
basically approached someone who you didn't know,
Oh, yeah.
told her your story, and showed her your artwork, and it clicked for her.
That's it. Yeah.
That's
Just
so
like
random,
that, man. It's so random.
but it
Yeah.
worked out, and you guys have been working
Yeah.
together
Absolutely. Yeah.
with all the people on your. So this is Well, I'm actually pretty interested in this because I do my thing completely solo. I don't want anyone else touching it at all. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So that's just I have control issues. I
Sure,
think
sure,
that's
sure.
my issue, right? But
We all
you're
do. We all do. Yeah.
but you've assembled a team and you are okay apparently with sharing that. Like, how does that balance out? I can't wrap my mind around that.
Wrap your mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, just like anything, just like any, team, any job or anything that because I used to play soccer, I used to
Mm.
play, soccer and, I kind of had a really bad injury,
Mm.
and that, caused me from, not being able to play soccer anymore, and, but when you're playing soccer, when you're in a team, you really have to, you have to depend on everybody,
Yeah.
and, it's not like, I don't know, like you're giving away too much, like, you don't want this person to be, maybe you're a captain and you don't want to like help this guy too much, but you kind of have to share, you kind of have to be okay with that and be transparent, and I think with
Mm.
me, it was like, if I want this to work, I do have to share, but always like share, just enough for us to do the job, just to get enough done, because there are some things I do have to keep tight to the chest because, of legal reasons and because of the nature of the business that we're in, because it is, a business, it is a sensitive thing, so I think, the team understands that. I think, they don't want to know everything. They don't want to always, have all the information because they want to be surprised too. They want to experience the story and the project, just as well. So I think, I don't know, that's just sort of the way I tackle it, and I also give them a lot
Yeah.
of autonomy too. So like, I do want them to like tell me, hey, Gideon, like those color schemes are totally whack. So I really want them to sort of to express their voices because I guess for me, my philosophy, I feel like that's what will make this better.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But you are the lead artist
I am the
and
leader.
writer. So
Yes,
how are other people contributing then?
yeah. So we just like like your traditional comic book.
Mm.
You have your colorist. So
Oh,
you
okay.
know yeah. So we have a colorist. Sean Struble from Image Comics. He's assisting us with.
Oh, wow.
He did this this 6 volume run. It's called I believe Little Depressed Boy. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's a cool concept. I like it a lot. He said that it pretty much it was based off not personal experiences but just growing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we can all relate with that.
Yeah.
Because growing up can be really difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
And besides Sean and stuff, Allison Pitts, she is sort of my, I don't know how to describe her. She does almost everything,
Wow.
So she has to do with inking. She has to do with like promotional stuff. She will, help me out with, extensional artwork and stuff, whatever I need pretty much. Because, we do shows, we do, like Free Comic Book Day that's coming up, she
Oh,
will
wow.
help with that a little bit. So yeah, she's pretty useful in a lot of ways, and it's in a lot of ways, the essential heart of the team, because she kind of keeps everybody in check, because even though I'm the leader, I myself can, make mistakes, and it's good to have different people, who care about the project just as much as you do, and let you know, like, hey, I think that's not a great idea, or take a step back, or hey, you need to rest,
That's great.
So stuff like that, I think it gives us the balance that we need to make this book,
Yeah.
possible, right? And then we have Fernando Rockchild, and he helps me out with a lot of like he kind of assists me with a lot of the artwork, So like if I do like big projects, he does a lot of like design work, but even more so like concept art because when you're creating a work, yeah, it's a big universe.
Dude,
right?
that's what I've been struggling with issue 3 is because that stuff is a whole separate gig. Like
Yeah,
it really
it
is.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really hard, but
Yeah.
when you have, someone else, that can kind of, chime in and help
Yeah.
you out and stuff, I think it makes the task a little bit less daunting, and
Yes.
and Fernando, he's kind of the senior of us, or not the seniorest, but he's like a little bit older than me, so he kind of but me and him kind of have the same like taste and like stuff that we like, and kind of like like anime and certain stuff that we like to watch, like Gundam, Mobile Suit Gundam, and
Yeah.
Big O, I
Yeah.
don't know, Super Sentai, all that kind of stuff, Ultraman, right?
Okay.
So things like that I really like, or this original Superman cartoons from like the
Hmm.
40s,
I don't know.
just animation and stuff. So I really like that, and he understands what I'm trying to go for. So he's in a lot of he. I like that. I like that he knows. So that means when I ask him for something, or if we're working on something together, things they get done, in the way that they should, or at least to the vision.
Yeah.
So that's always exciting.
So is Quasar Soldiers issue by issue, or is it like a graphic novel kind
Yeah.
of thing?
So Quasar Soldiers is designed to be in theory, or not in theory, I planned it. I wanted to be like a 4-volume epic, right?
Yeah.
So within each volume, there's about 8 issues. The
Wow.
first volume is 8 issues long, and I wrote the entirety of everything,
Yeah.
and I was telling the soccer story earlier.
Yeah.
What also began this journey for Algorithm Comics is the fact that I was not able to walk for an entire year,
Oh wow.
and because I crushed my foot and my
Mm.
ankle, and it was all bad, and I was dealing with a lot of stuff, and that kind of catapult the journey, right? But it gave me a lot of time to really consolidate, what do I want? When you're not doing anything, what is my purpose in life and all this stuff? And that's what Quasar Soldiers was. And it gave me the time to write everything,
Wow.
and it
Yeah.
was very rough. I wrote it all on my iPhone 4,
Oh wow.
while I had my whole leg elevated and in pain, but it was so refreshing. It was nice, and it really allowed me to really see what I'm doing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I was really, I was really attached to these characters. I'm still am, but I really got to meet them. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that was
The
that
process of
was
writing. Yeah.
yeah,
And
I really got to
brainstorming
meet.
and sitting there and thinking
Yeah,
about it. Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
yeah. So that was part of that. That whole journey, if you will. Yeah.
Gotcha. Um. Yeah. It sounds like you and I write the same way, where I have all 6 of my issues written, and
Right.
I go back and refine it. But I like to know, and actually beyond that, I have this timeline that I've written of events, so I know much bigger scale, kind of what's going on in my universe. I feel like that's
Right.
important to the writing process, is to know on a deeper level what's going on.
Yes. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, very much.
All right, so have you guys actually finished and printed anything out?
No, we have not printed anything out. Right now, we're
Okay,
in the process of working some things out with the publishing. So we're definitely looking forward to having some very exciting news very soon,
cool.
actually.
So how much is actually done?
So issue 1 is done. The
Cool.
preliminary, but I've been doing a lot of preliminary on issue 2 and
Okay.
3. So when I say preliminary, I mean like I've been doing a lot of the interior, all the interior
Yeah.
work, for those issues
Yeah.
are finished, or at least they're nearly. I'm making little tweaks here and there. As I'm working on other stuff, things come to my mind like, oh, you know what, maybe I can, pivot or change, this page, this could be better, etc.
Yeah.
So that's where I am, right now, because obviously, since we were still waiting for things to kind of jam with these publishing
Okay.
companies and etc. and stuff, there's no things can change a lot. There might be things that they may want to change to a little bit. This is
Hmm.
the process. It's weird stuff like that, and
So
or
you're
just
actually
that's just
you're looking to get it published through like a third party then,
yeah, through yeah,
and
yeah,
you've already
yeah.
talked to.
That we had an opportunity to back about, I don't know, 2016 November. We got to talk to Image Comics and stuff,
Oh wow.
and that was sort of what kind of set things in motion, allowed us to sort of see where this book can go. But really all we've been doing all this time is really just kind of cutting the fat. That's what I've been calling it,
Yeah.
since, just cutting the fat, making sure that everything is as perfect as it needs to be.
Yeah.
So that's sort of where we are right now.
Right on.
And definitely, by the coming weeks soon, actually, for Free Comic Book Day, we're going to be able to really show quite a bit, and, also announce some exciting news, towards uh,
Dude,
the next month.
wow.
Yeah,
I'm excited for you, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you a potentially
Sure,
difficult
sure.
question here. All right,
Okay.
with that many
Let's try.
people,
Okay.
how do you deal with potentially making money on this thing?
That is a really, why you have to ask me a question like that?
Don't answer it if you don't want to, but I
Yeah,
have to go there. And I'm thinking about my listeners that might want to form a team. For
right,
me, I don't want to deal with that period.
right,
But you're taking it head on.
right.
Have you guys at least talked about this
Had
stuff?
that
Or?
yeah, I guess the best way I can kind of, go about it is like, my team, looking back in 2013, 2014, and looking at it today, um, I've come to understand that the team is everything,
Mm,
in this process, there are so many times, so many things that I can't do it by myself,
mm.
and I really depended on them. And I feel like I guess when that time comes, I would take care of them. You know what I mean?
I'm sure you would. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll take care of them and make sure that that's because I think that for me that would be very fulfilling, because I know
definitely.
that on their part to trust some random dude, curly hair and everything, and boyish charms, I don't say I didn't say that, just but that they would just be like, it's so random, like you were saying earlier, but for them to put that kind of trust in all of it, I think it's well earned, I think it's
Yeah.
well earned in the long run.
So
Yeah.
you agreed you want to do the artist inventory challenge with me, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
All
We,
right.
we spoke about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm definitely down.
Before we do
Yeah,
that, what do you have any tips for other people who might be looking to build a team? So I think
sure.
that's pretty unique about what you're doing is that you're doing this team approach.
Yes,
What
yes.
tips? What do you think? Because honestly, it started off with just this random meet.
That's all it was,
Like
man.
that's mind blowing for me. So what? I mean, do you recommend people just randomly go up to other people or what?
You don't want to go, go to Joe Schmo, but
No, no.
but I think, with me and stuff, at least in my own experience, my mother, she would always tell me that, sometimes a lot of, I think it's like a very common proverb, but just sometimes the stuff that you're looking for, is just right next to you. You know
Huh?
what I mean?
Yeah,
You really don't have to look so far,
yeah.
and you just need to pay attention, who's
Huh?
around you, who cares about you, who pays attention,
Yeah.
who's the one that walks past you and makes that comment like, hey, I like your art, or just something, or whatever it could be, something that just kind of pokes at those details that that the normal pedestrian wouldn't pay attention to, but you know this person does. Why is that?
Interesting.
And just sort of investigate, and be like, hey, like you said you like this, or whatever, and like what's going on,
That's
and
cool.
just start a conversation.
Yeah.
I think that's where it begins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Thank you for that. All right.
yeah.
So for the artist inventory challenge, there's four main questions. Well, three, and then the fourth one is the goal setting. But the first one is
Okay.
what projects are you working on? I think we kind of covered that. Actually, think about this past week.
Okay.
I know Quasar Soldiers is the project under Algorithm Comics, right?
Correct. Yeah.
This past week, what about that did you focus on? Like, what was the goal for this past week, if you could think about it?
Yeah.
Like, was it
Absolutely.
outreach, or was it penciling, or what were you working on this past week?
Yeah. So I this whole last week, I've been working on a very special, like a mini comic or a zine, if you will.
Yeah, yeah,
And I feel like, since the longest time, I mean, I've been very, like, just like just really close to the chest a little bit,
yeah.
about certain, you don't want to share too much and etc. But
Hmm.
I definitely want this year to be kind of a year of like just kind of being open, and just I want people to come in and see what's going on with these characters and with the story. You know,
Yeah.
one of the interesting aspects of Quasar Soldiers is that it marries, Nigerian folklore or mythology, if you will, with science fiction,
Hmm.
fantasy, if you will, right? And um, you know, that's because I'm Nigerian and
Hmm.
my family's from Nigeria. And interesting enough, when I was younger, I wasn't very interested in my lineage or my legacy, as
Hmm.
culturally. But after my father, departed and stuff, from the family and stuff, came to try to understand that, right? And
Hmm.
that brought me back to
Interesting.
Nigeria. You know what I mean? Brought me
Wow.
back to there, and just the timing and everything. It just happened. Like, no, the book has to have that in there, right?
Yeah.
So, that's something that I want to explore in design, explore with our readers, and also include some special sneak peeks of Quasar Soldiers for them to enjoy.
That's cool. So
And
that's
yeah,
a way for you to share really yourself
yeah,
by including those elements into your story.
yeah, very. It's a very. I mean, if anything, sometimes your freshman project is sometimes the most personal one.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Cool.
it's definitely a personal story for sure. Yeah.
All right. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Is that something that you feel comfortable putting out there, like on Instagram or on your other social media?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's what I was saying. Like, like this year is like literally like my goal is
Okay.
to just want people to know, know
Gotcha.
who I am, know who my team is and stuff, and just be comfortable with that, Which
Hmm.
I don't think we're talking right now. We're live and all this stuff, and
Hmm.
you know, I'm not shy, But I guess
Hmm.
for some reason I always wonder, like, wait, why don't I ever, put myself out there and tell people, what's going on. I guess
Yeah.
being part of me feels like, oh, maybe they may not care, but you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe they do care because they care about the characters. That means they probably might care about, this
Yeah.
as well, perhaps.
I think that people would care, like if you're passionate about it and you share about it. I think people would click. Certain people would click with that, and some people might
Sure.
not care. But you might really build a closer connection with those people that it's like, yeah, you know what, that makes sense to me. Like, that's something I'm more
Right.
interested in. You know,
Right.
I'm the
Yeah.
same. I'm the same way. I definitely I do hold things back. I'm very
Yeah.
open about my process of creation.
Yeah. And I see that a lot too, which I really love,
Oh, cool.
That sounds amazing. Yeah.
But like my day job, I don't share much about that at all. How important parenting is to me, I don't really go into that. My wife and kids, like all that's just I keep it to
Hmm.
me. But really, that's who I am, and I'm really not sharing that.
Right.
It's
Right.
hard. It's a difficult.
It
I
is,
find it.
it's a hard balance.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's
Right.
a very hard balance.
All right. So
Yeah.
this week, your goal was to get to work on the zine, right, or zine.
Right.
I don't
There's
even know how to
I don't know
pronounce
how they say it. Yeah. Is this new? I don't want to say hipster thing or millennial
that.
thing, but it's something. It's brand new. We'll figure it out, I guess.
Yeah. So it sounds like that's something you'll be printing on your own. I'm assuming.
Yeah. So yeah, we're actually gonna be taking care of the whole printing process. So
Yeah.
I think this week was mostly about just sort of figuring out the design of
Okay.
it. I mean, I've been posting lately. You probably have seen a lot of the characters,
Mm.
with colored backgrounds, and that's been a lot of fun. So we've just been trying to refine that and trying to figure out the best way to sort of present this,
Yeah.
and also to present the information, because if it's not presented in the correct way, or if there's
Mm.
some miscommunication, with the information, then everything might just collapse. Okay, wait, who's what? Whose father? Who's this? Who's that? Who's the bad guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
So even something as simple, not even an actual comic book, it's like a booklet. I mean, you have to think about those things, and so
Absolutely.
yeah,
All right. So this week your goal was to do a lot of prep work. For sounds like for the
pretty much,
we'll say
yeah,
Zine.
fine, yeah.
Um. Okay. So that was the goal. So the question two is then what were your successes with that? Like where did you win?
Where did I win?
Yeah. Like what did you accomplish in that
Yeah.
area?
Well, I think if anything, I was able to do almost a majority of the character designs for the character work that's meant to be in the book.
Okay.
I was surprised. I was kind of surprised at the speed, because
Okay.
actually too, I mean, I'm not, you have a much, greater prowess of digital drawing and creating, with
Mm.
digital tools, and
Mm.
for me, I'm just learning with it.
Oh, okay.
I'm just getting used to Photoshop and
Oh, okay.
Autodesk and all these programs.
Yeah.
So I've just been trying my best to sort of get comfortable with them. And this project design actually is actually kind of I guess a testament to that growth, I suppose. I was able to really get
Totally.
through a lot. I was really happy with that.
I'm looking at your Instagram right now to kind of see what you're talking about. Yeah, I remember looking at these. Oh, the one with Secondhand Hustle. That's got me really intrigued. By the way, I'll leave that aside for now. But
we'll talk
maybe
about
toward
that.
the end, because that looks really cool. That what
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right though. Like I'm finding that I'm learning as I go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm on issue 3, and I'm learning. I'm still learning how to do values. I'm learning how to do different layer properties like multiply and screen. Like I've been doing this for years. I've never tried those things.
Right.
So now I'm learning how to do values with these different layer properties, and like you learn along the way. You know, I don't think you can ever be fully prepared for it.
That's true, right? And you know, sorry to cut you there, but like for like a lot of people have been telling me, is like, hey, if you're good at one program or whatever, just keep on.
Yeah.
Just like drawing, you know, when we're kids, right? You just gotta keep on doing it, and eventually, I guess we'll get there, right? So it's that repetition.
Yeah, wherever there is, but what's cool, I think there's always a new goal. You know,
exactly.
I've kind of, for each issue, I've set myself a new goal to reach. So for issue 3, it's really focusing on backgrounds and landscapes, because I'm terrible at that. Because I've never practiced it. So that's
same
worse.
Here.
Yeah, right. So that now I'm like, you know what, damn, I don't know how to do this stuff. But I'm just figuring it out, and then I'm like, I was like, you know, I'm ready to get going. I started on page 1, and on page 1 there's like this ship that they come in, and I'm like, I don't know what this looks like. So I had to stop everything I was doing and design this little thing. But yeah, it's just a lot of it's just you figure it out along the way. And I was spending so much time on prepping, I was getting frustrated. You know.
Yes.
I don't know. It sounds like you guys do a lot of prep work.
Yeah, we're kind of crazy. We're crazy. You know, some words that we use a lot in the team: preliminary, momentum, cut the fat. You know,
I like that one. One.
Yeah, you know, some of the stuff we use those, you know, as, you know, analogies or ways of describing, and just all this process that we've just been on, just prepping and preparing, you know, because the more prepared we are, the less mistakes that we make, you know, or at least, you know, things get executed in a way, you know, that we want them to, you know. With the first issue, I drew it twice.
Oh my God.
I drew it twice. I drew it once in a sketchbook. Drew it again.
All right, we're gonna hold on.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. This brings us. This totally brings us to question 3. So question 1 was, what's your project, and it was the zine, whatever. Question 2 was, what was your win, and it sounds like you did a lot of preparation, right?
Yes.
Question 3 is, what were the fails or the drawbacks or the obstacles, and I feel like I'm hearing one, which is with the amount of preparation and second guessing, and that almost, I mean, it sounds like it could be a plus, but it also sounds like it's holding you guys back.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, it really can be, actually, because I think there's so much, you know, minutia. You know, it's just comic books, and you know, we're talking about putting this, you know, just all of us, we're all trying to put our work out there, and other people are going to see it, and I think it's just like the more you start realizing, like, wait, you know, 3 million people are going to read this book and read these words. Me writing the words, having this dialogue, him saying that, like, are they even
what do you mean 3 million? Where'd that number come from?
Oh, no, it was just random. You know, the random, you know, number. I don't know. I guess there's 3 million comic book readers. That's totally. Okay. I'm pretty sure there isn't. So potentially a lot more. Potentially
all the readers could read this.
Yeah, you know, I guess just that whole idea is it's so daunting.
Yeah, you know? Well, so maybe that's another obstacle here, is that in your head this is like everything. Rather than a group of people having fun making a book, it's like huge.
Okay. I mean, for me, because, you know, I am the artist, but I'm also like the business person, right?
And the writer.
And the writer,
and
right?
You're also the second artist when you do it twice.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna include, because, you know, I also have a co-writer as well. You know, her name is Dashara.
Oh,
you
wow.
know, Dashara Suj. So she's in Chicago, and she works with the Poetry, you know, Coalition. I met her when she was going to school out here at I believe Berkeley. I might be wrong. She might correct me later. You know, but she is a very fantastic writer and stuff, and she's done a lot of stuff with Spotify. You know, like doing some live poetry, and
oh, cool.
has done a lot of, interesting, amazing stuff. Her resume is quite,
Right on.
immaculate, if you will. And she helps me kind of tailor my scripts and my writing and my words sometimes, so that things sound the way they should. And but that
Yeah,
also creates its own problems too.
it
There's a lot of
does.
back and forth, second
It's
guessing,
yeah,
and
yeah,
just, like I'm sure like as you're about to conclude and stuff. I mean, there's a moment where you kind of have to be like, this is, you gotta stop. I mean, I think you know
yeah,
what, you and
yeah.
we know the same person. I believe the owner for Empire Comics in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, what was his name
Ben.
again? Ben. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, with his two little pugs, his little
Yes.
dogs,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So me and him were talking about it once, and he was just like, you gotta just put it out there,
Did he
just
say?
gotta,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you just gotta stop it. And he told me that a long time ago, and I get it now.
Do
you
you?
know, I think I'm starting to get it more.
Starting.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think like, for issue 2, I'm gonna be chill. I'm just gonna just let it go.
Why
Just
not
put
start
it
that
out
right
there
now
and
with
let it
issue
go.
one?
Or that. Well, issue 1 is pretty much done. I'm not even touching it
Okay.
anymore at
Okay.
this
Okay.
point. Yeah.
Okay. Not a third
Yeah. It's
draft.
just, yeah. No, I can't. I can't do it again.
So, but like
Yeah.
you have a couple hats you're wearing with writing, drawing,
Sure.
business stuff, outreach. You did a panel at TracyCon, I think I saw.
Yeah.
So
I
you're
try.
wearing all these hats, but you're
Yeah.
also the team leader,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
so it sounds like an obstacle for the team is, but I kind of wish I had all of you guys here. It sounds like an obstacle
I know, right?
for the team is just all the layers and the filters that you guys are going through.
Right.
So, well, what else? What else was obstacles for you, or fails, or you know, this past week, just this past week.
Past week.
Yeah.
I mean, fails past week. I mean, I think a lot of it was just like, I like to work a lot. I like to work, I like to do so much, I like to
Mm-hmm.
be drawing for
Yes.
4 hours and then write for 4 hours,
Yeah.
after working for 8 hours,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
being at school for 3 hours.
Yep.
So, I mean, I guess, maybe the failing might have been like, maybe I should have not taken it on so much and just do a little bit so that the little would be really good,
Mm.
would really, surmount to something even greater, potential, if you, I think, definitely next week, I'm just going to be chill and just focus on, 1 or 2 things. And because, I have time.
Yeah.
I don't have to do so much, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
the same way. I like to be busy. I don't just kill time. I like to produce, but I have found that setting myself up with goals each week, which I do in my weekly podcast, setting myself up with goals really, really,
Right.
really helps. And
Yes,
then
absolutely.
it's crazy. I noticed recently that once I meet those goals, I don't know what to do.
Right.
I just kind of spin my wheels doing stuff, but it's not nearly as targeted,
Right. I think, when you have like, something, I guess something so special, like, me, you have soldier stories, right?
Yeah.
I have, Quasar soldiers, similar names, I just realized that right now.
Yeah.
Soldiers, soldiers,
Yeah.
But, it's so personal stuff. And so you just, I guess you just feel like like a
Yeah.
child. You just gotta be part of it. You're a father, so you know it. You know that feeling.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
yours really is a reflection of you and your family. So
Yes.
so you kind of really want to get it right. Is that what you're saying?
I guess so. Yeah. I think I really want to get it right. I really want to, I want to make it special, and I want, I guess, with me, comic books came into my life at a very special time as well. I had a issue, volume 3 of Spectacular Spider-Man done by Paulo Rivera, and, that was my first comic I had. And, just reading that comic book and feeling all types of emotions, from excitement
Really?
to sadness and all this stuff, seeing Spider-Man fight the lizard and stuff, and seeing, just the humanity, in this genre and this story, about Peter Parker, in New York. It was just really fascinating, and I just thought, like, wow, this is cool, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, I guess things come full circle, I suppose, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that book got made.
That book
Do
did
you
get made.
have
Yeah.
a fear that you might not, like, issue one's basically done,
Right.
which is a huge accomplishment. But if you keep going at this pace, do you have a fear?
Yeah.
And like I have this fear that like it's
Yeah.
taking me 3 years to do 2 issues, or 2.5.
Yes.
That's like, to me it's unacceptable.
Yeah.
But it's also
But it makes sense, you know.
realistic.
I think
Yeah, but I don't
everything
accept
takes
that though.
time. Right.
I don't accept it.
Don't
So,
accept it, yeah.
but you know, as also I have so much stuff I try and take on.
Sure,
But
sure.
do you have a fear that if you keep trying to make it just right, that you won't
Mhm.
ever finish issue 2 or issue 3 or
Right.
issue 8 of the first arc? I think it was, you said, out of 4.
Yeah.
Like that's a huge
Yeah, it's crazy.
goal. You know, well, it's not crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
crazy
trying to-
ambitious.
Yeah, crazy ambitious, yeah.
But do you ever think about, like, you know, maybe we really do got to step it up here and move faster?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you caught me there. You know, that's definitely something that, you know, is something that the team and myself, you know, we gotta improve on. But definitely moving on. You know, I've, like, issue 1, I think it was so much growth. There was so much happening.
Yeah.
I learned so much about the process. You know, because I have so many people, seniors in the industry, telling me things. You know, and I'm like,
It's
okay,
good, man. Just from what you've shown, like, it's the artwork. I haven't obviously read it, but
sure,
artwork is like really good quality stuff.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, I'm trying. You know, I'm like,
you're not trying. You're doing it.
I'm doing it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I just want to try my best and try to provide something that, you know, that people can connect with.
Absolutely.
Ultimately. And,
Absolutely.
But definitely with the second issue, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, which I have a very clear idea how this is going to go and what's going to be in it. I think I know how to go about it now with the process.
Oh, okay.
And how to make it faster, you know.
All right, well, so let's go there next. So we know your project, what you're doing right, which is the preparing, or that's what you accomplished. And then the drawbacks was, I think that sounds like perfectionism and over preparing. Maybe, I don't know. Did I get that right? Or?
I think that makes sense. I think maybe perfectionism. You know, I think that's the best one there. Yeah.
I think it sums it up, but it also plus the
sums it up. Yeah.
The multiple tiers of people, and all right, so there's all that going on. So now the next question is, what do you want to do about it? You know, for this next week, what goal can you set to address those problems?
Yeah. Well, you know, I think next week, you know, for sure, you know, I want to move faster. You know, I've been learning a lot of, you know, the tools, you know, with using, you know, digital, you know, programs and stuff. Been learning new stuff. I'm like, every time I learn something new, I get faster, you know, with it. I get more, you know, profound, and with, you know, how I execute things, you know, with these drawings. So, you know, I think, you know, I need to kind of like use those tools, you know, the best I can. I've also tried to learn something new, actually, you know, and try to learn something new about those tools, you know, and how to get them done, you know, or ask for help, you know.
Good.
And, you know, perhaps maybe I might learn something that will make my process faster too, you know, because, you know, I think that's what it is too, a little bit as well, because my knowledge, you know, only goes so far. That's why I need a team, because I don't know everything. You know, I know that there's some things that I'm not great at, and I need Allison, I need, you know, Fernando and Shara and the rest of the crew, you know, to really bring things into fruition. But the more that I can learn, you know, and educate myself on, the better things will be in the long run. And that means I can give them more time just to kind of be in the spotlight with the project.
Yeah, I agree. I just noticed you have Iron Man on your wall. So do I. I don't know if you can see
yeah, wait, we both have Iron Man, huh?
Yeah, you got Iron Man. Yeah. Sorry, I totally got distracted by your Iron Man.
There's the connection there. Soldiers, you know, Iron Man, some synergy happening here.
There is, man.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask.
Okay.
Do you think it would be helpful for you? You're the leader. This is your project. Do you feel comfortable being more directive and giving timelines and whatnot? Like this, we got to get this thing done by this time, or this design done by this time, or this the layout's done by this date. Like,
Yeah.
being really directive.
Directive. You know what? You're totally. There you also caught me on another one right there. But like,
I'm not trying to like catch you.
No, you're
just,
good. No,
right.
you're good. No, it's something. I think that's something that I constantly,
This is
me
like
and
a gotcha
my other
thing.
partners. Hey, gotcha. No. I honestly, I think, with my process and stuff and the way how I lead, I think I definitely need to lead more with intent, and sense of making sure that certain things do get done at a certain time. We do have we recently have hired or brought in a like an admin, someone that, or like someone that sort of assists me with kind of all this stuff, So, and she's been very, very so helpful. So things have been moving very fast because of her too.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Cool. Now, not like we have like calendars. We have all these things that are keeping us, in check. And when things are not, when things don't happen, then who we have to figure out why didn't this happen?
That's
and
perfect.
Like,
so you're really like bringing in people to kind of make up for those weak areas in the team. Really.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's been a process though. We didn't get there overnight. But now that we have these assets and these these tools, it's been making things a lot cleaner, for us.
All right. So what's the goal for the week then?
So the goal of the week,
goals?
is honestly goals is to educate myself on some of the tools that I've been using of late, so that I can move a lot faster and run into less hiccups, and also to not be so much of a perfectionist, and perhaps kind of allow the art to sort of breathe in space, I suppose.
I like that.
To sort
like that a lot.
To just be, and it's almost like it's like when you're doing like an Instagram post.
Yeah,
I'm sure you might do this. You just have all the filters and you do all the stuff and all that, and you spend like forever on it. And sometimes you just put it out there. Just put it out there. And
exactly.
I think that will help us tremendously.
Have you? I'm sure you're familiar with Jake Parker.
Yes, I do. Yeah, yes.
He has a video called "Finished." I don't know if it's called this, but he has an idea: the finished, not perfect.
Right.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah. Yes, I have. Isn't that a segment, I think, on his show? Or
I just remember seeing it in a video, and he kind of talked about what that means and how important it is to just finish something, because it shows you can be productive, you can meet timelines or deadlines, and nothing's perfect. Like, it's not possible, but just to get it done, to show that you can complete something.
Exactly. And I heard that same thing. He said that. Yes, that's his words right there.
Yeah.
And that is such a bigger deal, to get it done.
It is. Yeah.
Can you get it done?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were young. I was like, I don't know, like 19, on this process. So it was just raw. I was just like a little chicklet.
Yeah.
Still figuring things out. But now it's like it makes sense. All of it makes sense. The advice and all that stuff. So, I'm looking forward, very, very much looking forward to executing all of that advice, putting it together to create this special thing.
Like the advice is out there from people that are way more experienced than you and I. Like it's out there.
Right.
It's just up to us to seek it out, take it in,
Absolutely.
Own it. You know what I mean? And there's so much stuff out there about how to use, whatever you're using, Photoshop, Sketchbook. Right. Setting aside the week to like really learn it. That's a cool idea. I did my first interview with Carlos Mendoza III. He was a toy designer at Jackson, South California. But he shared this awesome story about he got hired because they thought he knew Illustrator, the program. But in the interview, he said, "I am an illustrator." But they heard Illustrator. So,
right.
So once they realized it, he got to the job, and he's like, "I don't know how to do this." And so his top boss said, "You have the weekend to figure it out. On Monday, if you can't, we got to let you go." So he set aside that weekend and he learned Illustrator. Wow. You know what I mean? Pump something out, and they were like, "All right, you're still learning, but you're good enough. But like setting aside that time to really nail down, hammer down on something, and to take it seriously, like to that level, you know.
Right. That's amazing. That's really
I love
amazing.
that story.
Yeah, that's a good story. Yeah, it's a really good story.
It really
Yeah.
is. Like the way, you know, he's a good speaker, but it's I think for him it was like he has kids. Like if he didn't get that job, that like the stakes were a lot higher. You know, I think for independent creators like you know you and I, we don't. I'm not facing that. If I don't complete issue 3 by this year, which I will, but it's like I still have my career, and you know I'm all right.
Right.
But we don't face those. It becomes a lot more real when it's like your livelihood, you know.
Yes. Yeah. And I think maybe perhaps that's maybe how we should look at it. Maybe sometimes too a little bit, and like like hey, I know I have a deadline. If I don't get this done, I gotta walk away from this thing. Like this is real. Like this is gonna get done today.
What do you want to do with? Well, I know you want to get it published, but do you see yourself doing comics as a career, like full time?
I would love to. That would be a dream come true. I think there's a lot of other stories in my mind, and or maybe not my mind, in my laptop that I've written. Some that I've written since I was like in the 4th grade. That I just been kind of editing and rehashing. Like, this is one where I mean, it's like this kid gets these interesting abilities, and it takes place in Brazil, and is different. I really wanted to explore that. I don't know why Brazil, but it just.
I don't think Marvel has any Brazilian heroes that takes place in Brazil. I don't think it's a thing.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. His costume is like a luchador thing. It's wild.
Wow.
I wanted something kind of like wild, but it was. It's fun, interesting enough. It's everything's like connected, and I don't know. It's something that I want to explore, in the future.
That's cool.
For sure.
All right, so then you really have a big motivation because you want to do this as a career. You should have a pretty big drive to get the thing done.
Yeah.
All right, so your goal for the week is to kind of just pump it up and learn. You want to learn.
I want to learn. I want to take a step back, allow things to sort of have a space, and ultimately, just sort of expedite, my process, make it a little bit more faster. Yeah.
That helps.
It does. Yeah. From what I've been hearing, from all of you guys, letting me know.
And you're in the J Primecast community, right?
Yeah.
On Discord. I'm glad you're in there, and hopefully you'll give us some updates. I expect you to, honestly. I would love to hear about how things are going.
Would love to, yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah. Tell me about, before we go, what is this picture I'm seeing? Secondhand Hustle?
Secondhand Hustle.
And you drew this?
And yeah, so, me and Fernando Rothschild, we worked on that together. I provided the figure while he did the tattoo, and which cool. is almost it's almost like an analogy for our friendship, and how me and him kind of meld sometimes, creatively. This is a shirt design actually.
Oh, nice.
For Secondhand Hustle. It's almost like a vintage like thrift, like a hip one, like a shop. It's in
San Jose thrift shop.
In San Jose, and they're having a grand opening coming up soon, and I believe. Well, there hasn't. I'm not even sure I should even say anything, but
you don't have to. But I'm just curious about the drawing.
The drawing is definitely inspired, by Japanese, aesthetics and stuff, Asian aesthetics, if you will, and there's definitely an evolution to that figure, that we're exploring, and hopefully you'll see a lot of it in their stores, Yeah.
It's cool, man. I love it. It was different because I'm used to seeing. Yeah, I'm used to seeing you post about that little furry guy.
Yeah, Pilot. That's his name.
All right, cool.
Yeah, Pilot.
So to see that, I'm like, oh, that's different. And it was cool. I would love to see more of that.
Yeah. I know. I think we definitely would love to create more stuff like that. I think Algorithm Comics is definitely. I mean, even though we're doing Quasar Soldiers, and we want people to know that, hey, want to actively do other things. You know, I was very active when I was in, when I used to live in the San Joaquin County and stuff, around Stockton and Tracy. I used to do a lot of art shows, and, I want to get back to all of that, and also work with other creatives like, Alex Swelto and stuff, and, from Infinite, 209 and, Hello Master.
Yeah. That's funny that I grew up in San Jose, and now I'm in Stockton. You grew up in Tracy, and now you're in the Bay Area.
I was born in San Jose as well too.
Oh, were you?
So my journey also began, just a little bit, just a little bit of my life out here. Right? But we moved like around 2001, I think. So San Jose is not too foreign, but
all right.
I'm like rediscovering it now as an adult. It's interesting.
It's probably a lot different than when you were a kid there. Yeah. From when I was a kid there, yeah, it's changed dramatically. All right, dude. Well, I really appreciate you talking about Algorithm Comics and Quasar Soldiers.
Yeah, totally, man. It's Quasar Soldiers, man. It's all,
exactly. It's too close. But in taking the artist inventory challenge, like I don't think it's easy to face what we're weak in, or what we need to grow in, but like we need to, I think. So I appreciate you being so open and honest about that, and letting me challenge you a little bit.
I love it. I like a good challenge. I think, as long as you're being challenged, you're learning something new.
Yeah, man.
You're learning something new, right?
I totally agree. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to have me here.
Absolutely. All right. I'll see you in the Discord community, man.
All right. See you soon. Take care.